Let's do the chanting straight away. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Tudayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tudayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tudayambi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tadayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tadayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tadayambi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginning of time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I've had to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I've had to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I've had to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I've had to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayatam gati gati parasam gati bodhi soha. Tayatam gati gati parasam gati bodhi soha. Tayatam gati parasam gati bodhi soha. So I hope you're all well, looking after your mind, maintaining good awareness and mindfulness, conscientiousness in everyday living, as well as on the cushion. But practicing formally and throughout your daily lives as well. So let's do some meditation. Excuse me. Get yourself comfortable. And bring your mind inside your body, focusing on parts of the body from the bottom to the top, and releasing the tension from those areas where you may have tension and you're able to release. So starting at the tips of your toes, and release the tension from all around that area. And then the bottom of your feet, the balls, the arches, the heels. From the top of the feet, and around your ankles and Achilles tendons. From your lower legs, calf muscles, around your shins. And from all around your knees. And your upper legs, quads, hamstrings, and so on. And from around your midsection, around your hips and your groin and your glutes, and your lower abdomen, and just above your hips and lower back. Further up your abdomen and your sides and up to the center of your back. Release from all around your chest, underneath your arms and from the upper back. Release from the lateral muscles, from the rhomboid muscles and surrounding areas, and up to your upper trap muscles and release from them, and from your shoulders, biceps and triceps, down to your elbow, forearms and wrists, hands, fingers and thumbs. Now you can release the tension from all around your neck, front, sides, back of your neck. And up the back of your head, the sides of your head, around your ears and temples. And release any tension from around your face, around your cheekbones, cheeks. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. From your chin and mouth, both inside and outside. And from your nose, sinuses, eye sockets, and eyes. Make sure you're not frowning on your forehead, nice and relaxed forehead. And finally, release the tension from the crown of your head. Now briefly scan your body from the bottom to the top, just to see if there's any leftover tension, and if there is, and you can release it, then do so. And now bring your mind to this present moment and to the tip of your nose initially, and follow the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs, back out your nose again. So as you breathe in your nose, the air passes your throat. It's quite cool on the way in. Passes the chest area, fills the lungs with the air. They expand. Stomach rises a little due to this. And as you breathe out, the lungs compress, stomach drops a little. And as the air passes your throat on the way out, it's quite warm after being inside the body. So just focusing on the feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out. In this moment, past is gone, future actually never arrives or arises. When what we think is the future arises, actually is now the present. So let's say, for instance, it's 5:10 p.m. in Melbourne time, or Eastern Standard Time. We think 5:11 is in the future, but when 5:11 arrives, it's the present. So often we're dwelling on the past. It gives rise to worry. So often we're planning for the future. It gives rise to anxiety. But we are peaceful in the present. So breathing in, breathing out, and focusing on the feeling of the breath as you do so. So physically, all you have to do is breathe. Mentally focus on the breathing. And if the mind wanders from the breathing, then replace it back onto the breathing. You can also add the extra technique of counting the breaths from 1 to 10. 1 in breath, 1 out breath is 1, and so on. And if you get distracted on the way towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. So if any thoughts arise or any other type of mental activity arises, don't cling to it. Don't grasp at it. Also, don't try to force it away or even deny it. Be aware of it. Then simply be conscientious. Let it go as you replace your mind back onto the breath. Do your best not to follow the thoughts. One thought turning into 2 and so on. Eventually a big story. And also if your mind starts to become dull or sleepy, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. This way, refocusing on your breath is both the antidote for the distracted, overly busy mind, as well as the dull, slothful mind. So let's practice like this in silence for a bit. And now you can feel pleased with yourself and fill yourself with universal loving kindness, utilizing the visualization technique of filling your whole being with the white light, which represents the universal loving kindness. Reminding you again that universal loving kindness is not separate from universal compassion, universal joy, and equanimity, all based on equanimity, a non-biased mind. Just as the prayer we do, the four immeasurable prayer, may all sentient beings have happiness and its causes, expresses universal loving kindness. May they be free from suffering and its causes, expresses universal compassion. May they never be parted from the happiness which is beyond suffering. This expresses universal joy or empathetic joy. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. This expresses a mind of equanimity. Then I added the end, or we add at the end, I shall cause this. So we take responsibility to have this happen. But because we're not perfect yet, we ask the Buddha for inspiration. Actually, the Buddha, the thought of the Buddha, the thought of his teachings, the Dharma, and the thought of your teachers and the spiritual community, the Sangha, a fourfold spiritual community. This helps us be inspired to actually put this into practice. So the inspiration really comes from within your own mind, when you bring to mind the Buddha and so on. So fill yourself with the white light. Really now, may I be happy. Engage in the causes of happiness. May I be free from suffering and free from engaging in the causes of suffering. May I be peaceful. Fill yourself with so much love and kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards from your heart center. The white light leaves your body, while still your body is filled with the white light. So the white light leaves your heart center, enters into the heart centers initially of your loved ones, family and friends, and fills their whole being with the white light too. May they be happy, free from suffering, and to be peaceful. And now also include strangers, which is actually most sentient beings, isn't it? And now also include those you may regard as enemies. May all of these human beings have happiness, be free from suffering, and to be peaceful. So now you can slowly, gradually, I should say, radiate this universal loving kindness out further and further distance-wise to all sentient beings now, without limit. Starting around your immediate area, all sentient beings, whether weak or strong, great or small, short or tall, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born, may they all be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. So all the sentient beings live in the waters, on the land, fly through the air, whether born from wombs, eggs, moisture, or through transformation. We wrap out this loving kindness to them. Gradually further and further distance-wise throughout your whole state or county. And all of the states and counties throughout your whole country. And all of the countries throughout the world as well. And so on. Down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. Now have your loving kindness pervade throughout the whole solar system. And all of the solar systems throughout the galaxy. and all of the galaxies throughout the universe, and all of the universes throughout infinite space, whilst also being present here and now to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious body, Chitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And so I share with you the first teaching that we look at today, which is called What is Zen? Is that right? No. Yes. What is Zen? Question. I posted it on Facebook on Thursday, I think late afternoon or early evening. Then yesterday, around about lunchtime, I posted the second teaching that we'll look at today, called Enlightenment of the Wave. And then a little after midnight last night, I posted a Cup of Zen teaching. So I've taken pictures of each page, and I'll do that. And if we get past these three today, then I'll actually take pictures and put them up after class. So I don't know how many we're going to get through each class. At one stage, I thought maybe one a class, but there's actually about 125 of them. So that would take us more than 2 years. And so maybe 3 plus, per class. I'm not going to rush them, of course, I promise you that. But I also won't spend as much time as I possibly could on each one, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, really. Okay, the first one says, what is Zen? I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold it still a little bit. So if you are engaged on Facebook, then you can obviously print a copy for yourself. Or if you could see that, you can take a screenshot. Or you can look at the video and then check it later. You may be able to get this, if you Google this, you may be able to get this book online, digital copy, or even copies of the different pages and stuff. I'm not sure. A lot of things are easily accessible these days. So, like I said, the heading, what is Zen? And then you have a big fish and a little fish. A baby fish once asked an elder fish, I keep hearing people talk about this thing called the sea. Just what is the sea? The big fish answers, the sea is what surrounds you. And the little fish says, but why can't I see it? The big fish answers, the sea is within you and all around you. You are born in the sea. You will die in the sea. The sea envelopes you, just like your own skin does. And the little explanation says, Confucius said, fish forget that they live in lakes and rivers. People forget that they live in the magic of the Tao. People live in a sea of Zen, yet they don't know what it is. Would you like to know what Zen is? Please read on. So I'll just explain that a little bit. So obviously the fish is very concerned with his self. You could say small self, and very concerned. And hearing about this Dharma, you could say. The Dharma can also be expressed in the Chinese word Dao or Tao, the way, the path, and so on. It's everywhere, So that's the Dharma is in everything. So this little fish is sort of confused because he's thinking only of himself, not thinking of everything interconnected from a relative point of view. Everything's interconnected. From ultimate point of view, beyond that. So, as the big fish says, the sea is within you and all around you. You are born in the sea, die in the sea. So everything we do is the way. We just have to uncover it, you could say. We have to free ourselves from ignorance, attachment, and aversion, the three poisons. And this belief in this, I will use these words again, the small self. And of course, we're using the example of Confucius because Zen or Chan Buddhism, once again, the original word is Sanskrit dhyana or Pali jhana. It means mental absorption. And so when it went to China, of course, it actually was accepted by the Chinese people because it kind of related to and extended further upon and further sort of enhanced the practice in purifying the mind and everything like that, okay? I won't sort of use two big words there. But they utilize the teachings of Confucius. They also utilize the teachings of Lao Tzu and other Taoist teachers to express the Buddha Dharma, okay? So as Confucius said, fish forget that they live in the lakes and the rivers. They do. We forget that we live in, from a physical point of view, we live in this space, you could say. We don't think about it as space. We get attached to small things, other things in it, including self. From a mental point of view, we get attached to our thoughts, our opinions, all of this type of thing, rather than realizing, this mind, this vast mind, is the Dharma, is the Tao, is the way. So people live in a sea of Zen, yet they don't know what it is because we attach to this small self. Let's have a look at the time. I think that will do for that one. The second one is Enlightenment of the Wave. Once again, I'll see if you can get a screenshot of that if you want to. And like I said, I posted it on Facebook yesterday. It's not bad. It's not too bad quality, the picture. So Enlightenment of the Wave. And you have this little wave, another sized waves, and a big wave. Oh, how I suffer so, says the little wave. The other waves are so big, and I'm so tiny. Some waves are so well off, and I'm so lousy. The big wave says, it's because you haven't seen clearly your original face, that you think you suffer. The little wave says, I'm not a wave then? Then what am I? The big wave says, a wave is just your temporary form. You're really water. The little wave says, water? Big wave says, when you realize that your fundamental essence is water, you won't be confused about being a wave, and your suffering will go away. Little wave says, oh, I get it. I'm you and you're me. We're both part of a greater self. And the explanation, actually, just a little footnote there. I actually wrote a song called I Am You, You Am I, which this little quote here inspired, okay? And so the little explanation says, people selfishly think that they belong only to themselves. So they compare themselves with other people. And then they think they are suffering. In fact, though, every person is a part of nature. Think about it. So it's so much about suffering is avoidable, actually, in this life right now. Yes, we experience the suffering because we've caused it in the past lives, earlier in this life and whatever, since beginningless time. So there are some sufferings in this life we must endure and work to purify the mind so that we don't continue to cause them into the future. But there are many that we can let go now. You can let go of worrying about the past. You can let go of being anxious of the future. You can let go of this idea that I'm no good. Or you can let go of the idea that I think I'm great, better than others. So let go of pride. It's not helpful. It's based on ignorance, attachment, and aversion, on self-centeredness, So I think that'll do for that one. Enlightenment of the Wave. The next one says, it's called A Cup of Zen, and I've explained this one to you many times. both face-to-face over the years, as well as during these Zoom classes. And so this is the explanation in the book. Of course, I've explained it in a few different ways, depending on what I'm teaching at that moment. So here's the possible screenshot opportunity. A Cup of Zen. One day, a scholar went to see a Zen monk named Namo to inquire about Zen. Namo treated his guest to a cup of tea. He poured the tea into a cup, and when the cup was full, he kept right on pouring. The scholar said, "Master, that's enough, it's full." The master says, "You are just like this cup, full of your own thoughts and ideas. If you don't first empty yourself, how can I teach you about Zen?" The scholar says, "I understand." So the explanation says, if your mind is filled with your own prejudices, the truth that others speak can't be heard. When engaging in conversation, most people are in a hurry to express their own opinion, and as a result, they don't hear anything but the sound of their own voices. And this relates not to just us speaking out, physically speaking, but actually mentally speaking, mental chatter. When we're full of our own thoughts and opinions, we can't really learn from others. Even if others are speaking nonsense, we can't learn that it's nonsense even. So you think about the people that have extreme views like this extreme opinions. That's why they follow through, engage in negative actions. On top of these opinions, they can't hear your true nature is peaceful. They can't hear you really are inherently wise and compassionate, because they're too filled with their own so-called pride, ignorance, attachment, aversion, pride, doubts, wrong views, and so on. What I just mentioned was 6 root delusions again. So how long we got? 4 minutes. I'm just wondering whether we should even attempt the next one. So basically, the master is visited by this scholar who probably is a scholar of Buddhism, and maybe has a lot of pride. And then, because he's got this pride, the master, maybe he's actually really very close to really understanding. As it said here, he says, "I understand." And the master's using this skillful teaching to break through. Maybe the master had actually perceived that this scholar was really close to really understanding the way or the Dharma. And so gave him that kind of cryptic teaching. So that'll do it. We will go for another one, unless it's too long. Some of these are more than 1 page. So. Okay. This one's called The Outcome of Enlightenment. And I'll give you an opportunity to take a pick. And so you have some practitioners, probably monks, walking up a mountain. Ever since, and this is just a script here, text, ever since ancient times, people have left their homes and loved ones to enter the gates of Buddhism and study Zen meditation. They expend a great amount of time and energy in disciplined contemplative training. But what is it that they gain? And so the first picture is them following the teacher up the mountainside. The second one is the master hitting with a stick the student while it's doing meditation. This is to help him to remain in meditation, to not be disturbed. Maybe he gets hit by the stick, gets angry. Where's that anger come from? Go back to the focus of the meditation. Next picture. The monk is meditating. If this question were posed to enlightened Zen masters, they would most likely answer, nothing. So Ever since ancient times, many people have left their homes and loved ones to enter the gates of Buddhism and study Zen meditation. They expend a great amount of time and energy in disciplined contemplative training, but what is it that they gain? Nothing. We want to give up attachment and aversion and ignorance. Free our mind from this, not get anything. Too often we want to get stuff. We want stuff, or we don't want stuff. And this is what we mean by giving up. There's nothing we want, nothing we don't want. So the explanation says, when we stop differentiating, halt our delusions, and put an end to all thoughts, the two hindrances of discursive thought and intention will dissolve. And as our minds fill with peace, there will be nothing we won't understand. I'll repeat that because I can't put into better words. When we stop differentiating, halt our delusions, and put an end to all thoughts, the two hindrances of this discursive thought and intention will dissolve. And as our minds fill with peace, there will be nothing we won't understand. Nothing we need. I rejoice in your meritorious goodness, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Study, practice, and share the Dharma well. Look after your mind. Look after your body. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya.